Yo, what is up guys, it's your girl Bex and welcome back to the race rundown post a scorching weekend in Singapore. As always, the heat was a problem, but before we jump right into the absolute heat on and off track, I just want to say thanks for listening along. If you like what I'm doing here, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a follow. If you're listening, give us a 5-star review, follow me on Spotify, follow me on Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and let's just get straight into it. So, start of the race, an amazing start for George. Lando finally sharpening his elbows and gives Oscar a little bit of a push in lap 1 with a broken end plate on his front wing as a result. There was much speculation about whether it was a collision with Max or a collision with Oscar. I personally think it was a collision with Oscar. Oscar then, if this was the other way around, I'm sure Lando would do the same. I am not saying that they are both innocent in this. They are both equally to blame. Oscar didn't think Lando would do that, I don't think, and then was met with a team radio message. Honestly, gold. That wasn't very team-like, but sure. Oscar, I'm sure if it was the other way around, you would have done the exact same thing, sweetie. So, not that I'm picking sides, I'm just saying that obviously if the shoe was on the other foot, Oscar would have 100% done the same thing. The left side of the track was harder to find grip, so therefore it gave Lando a little bit of an advantage. Behrman and Hadjar have a collision on lap 1. Oscar then gets told obviously no further action as a result of what was going on. I secretly think that he was hoping for them to say, "Can you give the places back please?" And at that point I'd have just stopped watching. McLaren are going to be the downfall of their drivers the way they're going at the moment. I genuinely believe that he won't stay there once his contract's up if they keep playing this shit, which is completely fine. I wouldn't blame him, to be honest. Lap 20, Russell first and Max pits. Norris stays out. Max then comes out 7th ahead of Alonso. Colapinto and Hadjar are having a scrap a bit further down the field. Yuki chilling down at the bottom, minding his own business. La 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 la. Leisurely Sunday drive. Lap 26, George pits and Antonelli pits shortly after that. Norris leads and wants to pit before Oscar on lap 26. That initial radio message was a little bit confusing because you hear Lando say yes to Oscar pitting before him, and then all of a sudden he quickly changes his mind and said, actually no, I want to pit first, which would just have been a repeat of Monza all over again. So, Norris pits, everything's fine, super fast pit stop. He has a 7-lap lead tyre-wise over Max at this point. Gets the front wing fixed, everything's fantastic. Piastri then comes in 1 lap later on lap 27 and the left rear just would not come off and led to a 5.2 second pit stop for the Australian. Gutted. Problem for Alonso too, with a 9-second pit stop with the tyre gun just not engaging whatsoever. Max then locks up. It all gets very exciting. Alonso and Hadjar scrapping for lap 37. Hadjar honestly absolutely crushed it this weekend. There was then a battle further down the field with the two Saubers, the Alpine and a Haas, scrapping towards the end of lap 43. Max then starts complaining about the balance of his car. I'm not sure if he was just doing that to get everybody excited, but I mean, it would explain a lot from the lockup. So, lap 45, Hulkenberg off at turn 7. There was a lock of the rear axle on the downshift, which caused him to skirt into the runoff area backwards, which I thought was pretty impressive. Lando and Max continue to fight throughout the race for second place. On lap 54, Piastri's gap to Lando is 3.2 seconds. Stroll loses it over the radio when talking about tyres and the actual age of tyres. He's like, yeah, mine feel really old too. It's like, sit back down, sir. You're only there because your dad owns the team. Hamilton then gets told to pass Charles, but he has no brakes and therefore they have to switch back. He's not having much luck at Ferrari, let's be honest. Russell then wins the race with Max in second and Lando in first. Then you would think, oh, Bex, that's nice and fine and dandy. You know, the race is over. Everything's good. No. Hamilton then gets hit with a post-race 5-second time penalty for, wait for it, leaving the track without justifiable reason more than once. So in other words, exceeding track limits. And the post-race bit that we're all going to love the most, if you're a McLaren fan. If you're not, then sorry. The guys over at McLaren are 2025 Constructors Champions. Let's go. 2 for 2, baby. And yet another Constructors' Championship under our belt. Let's go. Let's go. I say ours. I literally did nothing. But as a supporter, super happy for them, obviously. Lando is obviously happy. Simply beautiful. Simply beautiful. I genuinely believe that Max should copyright Simply Lovely at this point. Because Lando's coming for your crown, dude. Oscar then has Zach on the radio basically saying, good race today. 2 times Constructors World Champion, and he pulls the radio out. In other words, he throws his toys out the pram and doesn't want to speak to anybody, which, I mean, now that the Constructors Championship is won, that was the main goal, I feel. And now I feel like it's a gloves off situation of like, okay, we've done the bit for the team, now it's my turn kind of thing, because they've already won it, so it's secure now. So I feel like it could just be complete and utter chaos moving forward, but we'll have to wait and see. I could be very, very wrong. It could be the most plain and boring 6 final races. Like, there could be nothing left in the tank for either of them. So that is the end of the on-track news. Off-track news is still, it's a little bit slow. I won't lie to you, it's a little bit slow. Drivers still without a contract. Russell, they keep saying that it's close. If it's that close, just sign the damn thing. I would love to be a fly on the wall to see who is the reason why it's not signed. I would love to know if it's just a money problem or if it's like management or time spent on the sim or anything like that. I would love to know. So Russell's without a contract. Tsunoda's without a contract. He probably won't be at Red Bull for much longer based on recent performance. Although they have had a change of management, as we all know. We obviously have Helmut Marko, who is probably on a one-man mission to get Tsunoda out of that car and out of that building as quickly as fucking possible. However, we shall have to wait and see on that as well. Antonelli is obviously without a contract as well. Gasly without a contract. Ocon without a contract. And Colapinto without a contract. I personally think if Gasly wasn't in F1 anymore, that would be a damn shame. I feel like if we lost Ocon, I wouldn't be too upset because I don't really hear a lot about him anyway. So, yeah. He's being outshone by Ollie, who's years younger than him anyway, so it's a little bit embarrassing. The next bit of news I want to talk about, obviously, if you guys know me at this point, I love Lego. I've mentioned it on the podcast quite a few times. I'm slowly but surely collecting all of the Lego F1 cars. I'm going to put them in a display when they're done. However, I have some news, some rumours. I'm not sure how true this is at this stage. I'm still doing research into it. However, they're saying that they're going to bring out Lego Formula 1 helmets. But there's only 3 of them. So, who do we think those 3 people will be? I feel like I would love for it to be a Lando helmet, just because they know that he pulls the numbers in. I'm not sure if it will be or not. I feel like they'll probably go classics. So maybe a Senna helmet, because they all know they love to lean on that. A Senna helmet, maybe a Hamilton helmet as a 7-time world champion, and maybe a Schumacher helmet. Ooh, there's not really a lot of Michael Schumacher merch. I'm not sure if they're actually allowed to, based off of obviously the circumstances at hand and their estate and all that stuff. So we'll have to see. Let me know in the comments, if you could have a Lego helmet of any driver, what would you like it to be? I purely picked the Lando helmet because I like the neon, I like the black contrast, I like the pattern, and I'm just biased. But yeah, I would love to know in the comments what you would like to see in terms of driver helmets. Who would you want up on your shelf? That's what I need to know. And I want to touch on as well the final bit of off-track news, which I'm sure none of you care about, but I care quite a lot, is the fantasy team. Obviously, we're trialing it out at the moment. If it works really well this year, then we'll definitely open it up to the general public next year and post about it and let you guys be in the fantasy team. So, at this current moment in time, your girl is fucking bossing it. I won't lie to you. In terms of the race rundown league, let me just pull up the numbers. I am currently in first position with 3,311 points. I gained 152 points this weekend. With second place in 2,356 points. And the final person, because there's 3 of us in the fantasy team, at 1,935. So we shall have to see how this continues. I feel like I've almost found the cheat code, because my main person is normally just Lando, and he normally does quite well. So probably helped by the fact that obviously McLaren have already won the constructors, which helps with my fantasy team at this stage. So I would call this beginner's luck. I'm not the best at fantasy teams, as everybody in my work fantasy Premier League team will tell me. I suck. I just given up on it, to be completely honest. Formula 1 is clearly my sport, and I don't watch football, so I've kind of given up on that. But yeah, so we have a week gap next week, and I want to hear from you guys what you would like to hear me talk about. Obviously, I can jump on the mic no matter what and talk about anything related to F1. So I would love to hear your thoughts, your opinions of what you think I should talk about, what you think the episode should be based on. Should I have some special guests? Let me know. Obviously, I have some ideas, but I want to make episodes that you guys will actively want to listen to. So until then, we have a little bit of a limbo, and then we have Austin, Texas on the 17th of October. Now, this weekend, I will admit, guys, is going to be quite difficult for me because it's my birthday. It's your girl Bex's birthday, and obviously the podcast comes first. You guys know that. So I have planned all of my birthday shenanigans on the Friday and the Saturday and left the Sunday open. Obviously, it's quite a benefit to me as well because of the fact that the race is at 8 p.m. So no matter what happens throughout the course of the weekend, I'll still be able to watch the races. Fantastic, guys. Okay, so the podcast comes first. There will still be an episode no matter what. And if you guys are interested, I will let you know what I got up to for my birthday. But until then, it's been your girl Bex. This has been the Race Rundown. And I'll see you guys next week. Cheers. Peace.